Hey folks, Brian Blessing in Las Vegas. Glad to be with you at ATS.io. Don't forget our pal Adam Burke. His podcast, Exceptional Information for you. I join Adam each and every Tuesday. Get ready to do Vegas Hockey Hotline radio show here in Las Vegas. And it's basically the end run here, final week of the regular season in the NHL. A time to maybe update and find some overlays for you from a Stanley Cup futures perspective. You're looking at co-favorites, the Avalanche and the Golden Knights on the board at 9-2. Two really good teams coming out of the same division. You got the same scenario that's in play in the Central Division. You're looking at money on the Leafs at 6-1. They're going to win their division, I get it, but talk about being up against it. Whoever comes out of the North is likely going to come down to the States and play at a neutral location and then have to play road games in the semifinal series. Certainly a tall hill to climb for a Canadian team like the Leafs, but they are the clear favorite in the North. The Jets, 7-game losing streak, are struggling. The Habs have not been great whatsoever. And then Edmonton, McDavid's lighting it up. Points galore, but is their defense good enough? And the answer there is likely no, and the number reflects that. The Oilers on the board at 30-1. A couple of teams that make just a lot of sense. Carolina was my pick at the beginning of the year. I thought if there was a conference structure, it would have been Carolina and Colorado, the teams I'd consider. This Hurricane team is really, really, really good. And Mrazek, maybe the goaltending is good enough for them to make some noise. But you talk about the three-headed monster in the Central with the Lightning, the Panthers, but the Hurricanes certainly looking really, really, really good. The Islanders are on the board at 20-1. Offensively, they just can't score. The trade at the deadline, Palmieri and Zajac, it's not made that big a difference. The Caps have a real opportunity, I do believe. There's a big physical team. They're built for the playoffs. They're on the board at 14-1. The Bruins have the goaltenders, and they just find ways to win. But Boston is such a top-heavy team with that perfection line. Any one of those guys get hurt, clearly Boston's going to have themselves a big problem. The one that's still an overlay price, if you'll want one, I got the Blues at 55-1 3 weeks ago. Still seeing 30-40-1. I think that's a mistake. I think it's an overlay. They've made the push into fourth place, but this is how the Blues won a cup a few years ago. They've righted the ship at the right time. And Binnington got the big contract. He didn't pack it in. He's barely lost since he got the big money. Watch out for the Blues. They could be one of the main dangers coming into the postseason and certainly pull off a big upset in the West Division. And then, listen, the Preds have made a push trying to get in. They're a big balloon price at 60-1. Exerted so much energy just to get in. Think they'd probably stumble at some point. But I got to stick with, and the Penguins, by the way, 14-1. I can't believe they won so many games with that goaltending, but offensively they've been scoring, and you got Sidney Crosby, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. Still like the Hurricanes, still like the Avs, and think the Blues are capable of making some noise, and we'll have specific playoff series matchups for you come next week. But in the final week of the regular season, maybe now's the chance to get in and get an overlaid price in the Stanley Cup futures market. Glad to be with you in Las Vegas. For ATS.io, I'm Brian Blessing.